Yeah, so we'll just kind of sway the body, or you can shake, you can reach. See if you can move your body without necessarily stretching it in this moment. There might be some postures that feel like a stretch, but see if it can feel more like movement, less like stretching. And as you move, again, we're just going to let the eyes drift around the space. Let them slowly just take in all that you see, light and shadow, colors. Maybe noticing everything in the space that's the color green. Noticing shapes, maybe noticing everything that is a circle in shape or circular. You can let yourself even walk around, turn, and let yourself see, feel your whole space, and give yourself a moment to remind yourself of where you are, just very literally. And you might even say aloud, like, I am in my office in the upstairs of my home near the St. Vrain Creek. Like, just say a couple of words around where you are today, where you're coming from. And then find yourself standing on both feet about hip distance apart. A little softness in the knees, slowing your movement down. And allowing the eyes to gaze toward the horizon. And from here, we'll take our right hand to the back of the skull at the occiput. Now your occiput, I'll get a little closer to the camera so you can see where this is. It's where your skull connects to your neck. There's like a lump over on the left and a lump over on the right. We're going to find the left occiput and just bring your hand there and find a little, you can tap, you can find a little solid pressure, just meeting the tissues, not necessarily needing to dig in too deeply, but just giving the tissues some palpable and tactile awareness around where they are. And then see if you can feel into the same eye, so your right eye. And just as you take a couple of moments, allow that eye to melt back toward the occiput, allowing it to start to go further back into the skull. You might even start to shift toward the back of the right heel. Open that right eye gaze to see more of the peripheral. And then take a moment to feel and sense where the occiput is compared to the wall on the right side, just spacing out the distance there. And notice how your body can tell how far the wall is from the occiput without you necessarily having to like turn your head and look. You have your proprioception, which helps your body locate itself in relationship to other items in space. And then you can either leave the hand where it is or it can lower down. We're going to start to turn the head slowly, perhaps the slowest you've ever turned your head, toward the wall on the right. And you're not going to turn it necessarily all the way there. You're just going like a half centimeter at a time, letting the eye continue to move back in the skull. And there might be a point as you move that you want to stop and pause and take a breath. You might notice how the weight shift on the feet as you just continue to slowly turn the head. Anything that happens with the eye, and see if your occiput and your eye can turn at the same time. Oftentimes when we're turning our head, we're really doing it from the front of us. So it's like turning the nose to the right. But see if as you're moving here now, it can be more like turning your occiput to the left. So really moving from the back of your skull. And then let yourself slowly turn back through center. Just taking your time to get there. Take a breath, a moment, and let your eyes just kind of drift and wander again. You can find some movement. Maybe flutter the lips. And then taking the left hand to the left occiput. It's okay if you can't quite find the exact spot. Really just that left side of the back of the skull near where it connects to the neck. That's where we're aiming. And then allow the eye to start moving back toward that point. Almost like your fingers are like a magnet that the eye is being drawn toward. And then same thing here, we're gonna keep that same awareness. The hand can stay where it is or it can release. And the head's gonna turn over to your left, but it's really more like the occiput turning you to the right. Nice and slowly. And there will be points, if you really listen in, that your head is gonna wanna pause and slow down. You can just notice also sometimes the eyes want to turn and move faster than the head. See if you can keep it at the same speed. You might also notice a shift of weight into the heels or on one foot more than the other. Notice any points that the movement gets kind of jagged or sharp or twitchy, and just redo those portions even slower. And then slowly turn the head back to center. Take your time to get there. When you do, and just again, let your body kind of relax. You can even take a little walk, a wander around your space. Breath. Letting the eyes just wander. You can even close the eyes for a few moments. And then we'll come back onto our feet, standing upright. Just a little bit of a gentle pulse. More weight back on the heels. Just a little pulse of the body, up and down. Your pulse can look like this. It can look a little bit more like a twisting left to right if that feels better. But see how soft and effortless you can make this, where it's like you're not even really trying, the movement just gets to happen. And see if as you move here, you can feel a line of energy and connection between the occiput on both sides, all the way down to the heels. So it's like this cord of energy can drop from your left occiput all the way to your left heel, and from your right occiput all the way toward your right heel. And as we do this, you're just going to take a nice breath in, and we'll exhale with the sound of boo, which is B-U. You just go boo. All the way out, and just taking a break. You might notice that you want to yawn or move in a little bit of a different way after that. And then feel like your head's kind of like a bobblehead, and just let it kind of start to stir around with the rest of your body. And you can do this really gently if you feel lightheaded or have a headache or anything like that. You know, as you do that bobblehead movement, do another round of that VU, V-U. Inhaling. And you might, like I did, just naturally want to like change that sound into something else. Open the mouth, stick out the tongue. What we're doing right now is just really gently de-thawing the nervous system, letting some layers of you start to defrost. So you might notice yawns, you might notice rushes of energy or heat. Maybe different sensations too that start to come to the surface from the inside, your inner world. So we're going to keep that bobblehead, keep this pulsing, keep the weight back in the heels and that line of energy from occiput to the heels. And this time as we VU, you're going to open and close your mouth. So it looks like VU, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And you just let yourself take a break after. You might notice a change in the breath, a yawn, a sigh, wanting to flutter the lips. Maybe your body wants to move in a bit of a different way. And do just one more, layering on one final piece here. So you can stay with everything we've been doing so far, whatever organically is feeling really right in and for you. This time as we VU, which again is V-U, at the end, you're going to find a roar, like a roar. You can make a ferocious face, you can make claws with your hands, you can even push the arms forward, you could find a wider stance. We'll inhale and VU. And notice if you've been standing in one spot, what it's like just to let your body start to travel around the space. You can walk or you can keep this little pulsing, shaking, easy movement. Just letting yourself travel and walk. I'm noticing just like a big smile on my face from this practice. You can notice what it feels like in and for you right now. Sometimes it's like a sense of the room just gets a little bit more high def. So the spine feels a little taller, or there's more presence in the soles of your feet. The final portion of our practice we'll explore today. We're going to be standing, just standing on both feet. And this time, if it's comfortable, if it feels safe, good for you, you're going to come to stillness and let the eyes close. If it's helpful, bring the hands back to the occiput on either side. This can be really helpful in just locating where your bones are in space. We're going to be learning a practice this weekend called body yantra. And this is just a little taster of what that practice is. I'm even going to invite you to kind of rub and massage the occiput. The muscles here get really, really tight and tense. Of course, this is also where our brain stem lives. So all of those core survival and homeostatic functions are back here. Notice if you can, again, shift your weight more on your heels. Find just a micro baby bend in the knees. And then draw cord of energy from both of these points to the heel. So it's going to be left occiput to left heel, right occiput to right heel. And if you want to do both at the same time, if that works for you, then great. Or if you want to spend some time just focusing on the left and then move over to the right, you can do that. But we're going to be staying with this for about 90 seconds because that's how long it takes for our body to really locate where these bones are in time and space. And it's not so much that you're tracing through the body here. I'm going to invite you to actually find a direct, long, straight line of energy that can move from these points in the occiput all the way to the heels. As we do this process, it's not uncommon for sensations, emotions, even images or memories to start to arise, and they're just coming up to be digested. So you don't have to do anything about them other than observe them and let them pass through you and stay with sensing occiput to heel. And if you're just doing one side, now would be a good time to switch over to the other. And staying with this, allow your eyes to open, but really softly, like you're half asleep, or even like you're someone who is and can sleep with your eyes open. There's just like a lot of softness, gaze down toward the floor, awareness in the back body, which is the parasympathetic side of the body, from the occiput to the heels. And you're just going to stay most of the weight on your heels, but drawing circles over the heels. So the weight's never really going to shift to the balls of the feet. It's going to stay on the heels. You're just going to let your body trace small circles. The whole tube of the body stays nice and upright. Just allowing the heels to massage circles into the earth, into the floor. And then we'll do that in the opposite direction. And just notice your initial speed with this movement. See if you can just let it be like 20% slower. Welcoming Dominique here with us. And just at the very tail end of our practice. You're welcome to just stand up. We're just tracing some circles on our heels right now. And let's go back in that first direction just one more time and see if we can do that direction nice and slowly as well. And see if as your heels trace this circle, can you feel how your occipital ridge does at the same time? So that place that we've been focusing in on the back of the skull. Noticing how that is also tracing circles. And then letting that go. Just let yourself, again, take another walk around the space and notice what it's like now. Let yourself walk slowly. Palette at the horizon. Your arms can swing as you walk. Take another minute or so just to integrate this. You're welcome to stay walking. You can stand. You can stretch or move any way that you want or need. You can tap, hum, hug the body. And we'll start to make our way back together.